Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Friday, the 12th day of December. This is CTV News. Tonight, a village devastated. Fire destroys multiple homes just before Christmas. A CTV exclusive. Premier meets face-to-face with the Mi'kmaq leaders over cannabis. And the Eagles Landing. Teachers and parents work together to create a place where everyone can play.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. Heading into the holidays, fire has devastated a small maritime community. An apartment building and a home went up in flames in Norton, New Brunswick last night. CTV's Avery McCrae has our top story.
The site of what was once a home and apartment building along Perkins Drive in the small community of Norton, New Brunswick is now nothing more than smoldering rubble.
Last night, the conditions were extreme. The wind conditions certainly didn't help.
Crews from 8 different departments, most of which were volunteer-based, arrived on scene shortly after 7:30 last night to a fully involved house fire. The high wind saw the fire jump to a neighboring apartment building, but crews were able to stop it from catching a third apartment complex. Ryan and Carrie Cassaboom own both apartment buildings and confirm all 5 occupied units were safely evacuated without any injuries.
We were on scene watching the work and effort that it really went into this, and they need to be respected for what they did.
Every fire department from around came. They were amazing.
How many people lived in the home where the fire started isn't clear. As many as 13 fire trucks attacked the blaze during its peak. By early afternoon today, crews had mostly cleared out, but trucks were on hand to monitor the smoking piles. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Their biggest hurdle is going to be helping them find housing, and that's the most important thing to me. This is just a building, but it was their home.
The Casabooms said all their tenants are currently staying with family following the fire. Both the mayor and apartment owners say the community has been asking how they can help those impacted by the fire. Clothing is the main area of focus, which can be dropped off at the Valley Waters municipal office. From residents eager to help to the collaborative efforts of firefighters, McKnight is proud of his community for stepping up in a moment of need.
This community and the surrounding communities will respond. We're a rural area for the most part, and people know each other, are more than willing to help out. I'm proud to live in a community where people are willing to step up and help each other in times of need.
Avery McCrae, CTV News, Norton, New Brunswick.
A Nova Scotia court has dismissed an appeal in a high-profile murder case. William Sanderson, the medical student twice convicted in the death of Taylor Sampson during a drug deal in 2015, learned yesterday his latest conviction will stand. Court evidence revealed the victim was shot to death in Sanderson's apartment, but the body has never been found. Sanderson's latest appeal was based on arguments the judge had aired, but the appeal court did not agree. He'll serve at least another 7.5 years before he's eligible to apply for parole. Police in the Halifax-area investigating a suspicious death tonight. Not many details available, but online reports say RCMP are investigating around the 2400 block of Beaver Bank Road. We're told one person is in custody. There's said to be no threat to public safety. That investigation is ongoing. Fredericton's police chief says he accepts the findings of a report into errors that led to a pair of murder cases not going to trial. The review examined the release of 5 people who were accused in the 2021 murder of Corey Christopher Markey and the 2022 murder of Brandon Donnellan, following stays of proceedings in court.
They feel they've been poorly treated by the criminal justice system, and I feel for them. They have been poorly treated. I probably did not provide them with the degree of comfort that they wanted for the reasons we've articulated beforehand about not being able to go behind the veil of the insurmountable evidentiary issue.
I accept full responsibility for the error that led to the stays of proceedings, and I recognize the profound impact this has had not only on the families, but on public confidence in our police force and the justice system.
There were some recommendations in the review Scott says he cannot make public because of the Canada Evidence Act.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
After days of rising tensions, Nova Scotia's Premier, Tim Houston, sat down with Mi'kmaq chiefs this afternoon. The issue, of course, the Premier wants to crack down on Indigenous cannabis dispensaries, while First Nations want to create their own industry. CTV's Jesse Thomas has the exclusive details tonight.
Premier Tim Houston left a meeting today with 4 Mi'kmaq chiefs, saying they'll continue to have ongoing discussions, but when it comes to the province's crackdown on what he calls the proliferation of illegal cannabis dispensaries, Houston said nothing changes, and he wants police to enforce the law.
We discussed that. I'm always interested in solutions, and they had some ideas, so I was grateful for their time, but the status quo is not working.
Houston repeated his concern that the so-called illegal cannabis market is growing out of control, posing a serious public health and safety risk, linking it to organized crime. Member 2 Chief Terry Paul pushed back, saying the Mi'kmaq-run cannabis operations isn't illegal, and they want to create their own Indigenous regulated industry.
Listen to us, listen to what we're saying here, that we have certain rights in this province, treaty and Aboriginal rights. This is serious, and this is where we want to be, and this is where the path that we want to take, and we want the province and the feds to work with us on that.
Houston said he's willing to listen, but hasn't heard anything that addressed his public safety concerns, saying the existing laws apply to everyone in Nova Scotia.
I think the concerns around public health are shared.
Chief Paul says Mi'kmaq communities share those safety concerns, but Member 2 isn't interested in partnering with the province and NSLC to open regulated cannabis shops on their land. They want to do it under their own rules.
Well, we would be able to participate in the industry, where we wouldn't have the fear of being, shut down.
Both left the meeting saying they understand the need for closer communication. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
Prince Edward Island has its 3rd premier in this calendar year tonight after a swearing-in ceremony in Charlottetown today.
I, Blois Thompson, swear that I will be faithful and bear allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III and his heirs.
Deputy Premier Blois Thompson sworn into the top job today. The chain reaction, of course, happened when PEI's 33rd Premier, Dennis King, who's now the ambassador to Ireland, stepped down in February. He was replaced by Rob Lance, and of course he resigned last night as he officially launches a bid to become the leader of the province's Progressive Conservative Party, and he hopes to win his old job back in the Premier's office. A convention to choose the new PC leader has been scheduled for the 7th of February. Probably not a big surprise to people who've been looking, but the cost of renting in Halifax is rising significantly faster than the national average. 2025 rental report from CMHC found the vacancy rate in Halifax is 2.7%, and the average 2-bedroom costs $1,826. That's an increase of 6.7%.
We expected the market to loosen up a bit, which it did, but we did not really expect for prices to go up as well. Because as the market loosens up, we would ideally expect prices to come down or increase at a much slower pace, which it did not happen in the case of Halifax.
When rent control was first implemented, we said this is a bad idea. We indicated that rents will go up, supply will go down, and there'll be less turnover in the market.
Experts say the high cost of construction and the rent cap force property managers to raise prices to keep up with rising costs, but supply is outweighing demand. And some much-needed new housing announced in the Halifax area today, but it is reserved for some very specialized groups. Ottawa has announced nearly $10 million in funding to help build 10 emergency units and 5 transitional units for the 2S LGBTQ plus population who've experienced violence. This is part of a larger strategy to bring down costs, cut red tape, and build more homes quickly, but it represents more than that for the people who will use these facilities.
This project is actually vital to the safety of our Two-Spirit Plus community. It's Two-Spirit Plus people have a high risk of for their safety and their wellness just based on who they are. So to have a safe space where they can find healing, they can find security, they can be housed, they can be with people that are from their own community is absolutely vital to their safety and their wellness.
Funding is actually part of a $700 million violence prevention strategy that was introduced in the fall of 2020. CMHC has set aside more than $400 million over 5 years to build more shelters and transitional housing. Okay, still to come on this Friday night, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll look for ways to reduce your festive ecological footprint during this holiday season. Coming up next, though, one patient, one record.
It is a firestorm, according to some of the words I've been told.
A new digital health program causing some headaches in these early days. We'll explain when CTV News at 11:30 continues.
With Aaron and Peter. Did you hear we're giving you 20 grand for the holidays?
Plus daily bonus prizes of $500 cash.
Listen for your keywords weekdays every 2 hours from 6 to 6.
Nova Scotia's health system is moving into the digital age. After committing to move away from inefficient, outdated paperwork, a new One Health record program is being launched. However, as CTV's Callum Smith tells us tonight, it hasn't exactly been an easy transition.
It is a firestorm, according to some of the words I've been told.
That's according to NSGEU President Sandra Mullen, representing 1,700 employees at the IWK, where one person, one record is now being used after intense training. It's the first part of a province-wide rollout, but week one hasn't been easy on staff.
They are just at a very breaking point.
The IWK acknowledges the new technology has been difficult to learn, but says patient care always comes first and record keeping second.
Having that best care connected across people, across providers, across geographies. What we hear from patients is they move to place, they have to tell their story all over again.
Now that's going to change. It all stems from a deal signed back in 2023, a 10-year, $365 million provincial contract with Oracle Health Canada to design, develop, implement, and support the rollout.
In the old days, we would have to print off pieces of the chart, we would have to photocopy them, we would tuck them under the patient's feet when they were in the ambulance.
That too will change.
If you have a critically ill individual, child at IWK, that information is streaming right into the clinical record, which allows clinicians to be able in real time to monitor patient trends and those types of things.
Streamlining where data is kept, ensuring healthcare providers are up to date sooner and patients aren't repeating their story. The Central Zone, including Halifax, is next, with one person, one record to be implemented in May before launching province-wide by the end of 2026. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Okay, thank you, Callum. Time for us to take a quick little break, but when we come back, it's your complete maritime weather forecast from the one and only Callum. It's a shot of Halifax tonight, I think. Callum. It is Friday night, 12th day of December, and it felt kind of like the 12th day of February, with the gusty winds and the blowing snow and what have you.
Yeah, I mean, that wind certainly had a bite to it today, and of course, really generated some intense snow squalls for a few parts of Nova Scotia. The good news is that wind is gradually diminishing as we move through the rest of tonight. There's still going to be a breeze around for tomorrow, for Saturday, but the winds won't be nearly as strong as they were today. They were quite gusty today as we were still under the influence of a strengthening low-pressure system that was off the coastline of Labrador, but the pressure gradient kind of squeezed across Atlantic Canada, driving those gusty winds. Taking a look at our forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation, there is still a part of the region at risk of some further snow squalls tonight into Saturday morning. That is parts of Cape Breton, especially up into the Cape Breton Highlands through northern Inverness and Victoria counties. There is potential of seeing some further snowfall accumulation that could be in excess of 15 centimeters at some of those higher elevations. Other parts of the Maritimes during the day for tomorrow can expect mostly a mix of sun and cloud, though with some increasing cloudiness from the west late afternoon into the evening. That is expected to be followed up by some flurries for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia as we move through Saturday evening and Saturday night. Here's a look at the winds and how they're expected to diminish as we head into tomorrow. In the afternoon, they'll be mostly still out of the west. They'll be sustained in a lot of cases between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour, and there'll be some gusts between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. So a breeze certainly still noticeable on Saturday, just not as windy as today. Now, low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for most of the Maritimes will be falling a few to several degrees below the freezing mark, even colder than that up around the northwest of New Brunswick. Edmonton down to around -13. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick between -3 and -5, with central and southern parts of that province with high temperatures mostly between -2 and -4, though Campobello -1 and Grand Manan 0. For Prince Edward Island for tomorrow, high temperatures will be just a degree or two below the freezing mark. Cavendish -2, Charlottetown -3, and Montague at -2. In Cape Breton, the high temperatures between -2 and 0. And for the North Shore and Eastern Shore of the mainland, the high temperatures between -1 and +1. Northern and central areas of Nova Scotia, well, in Cumberland, Colchester, Hants counties, most of the high temperatures between -2 and 0. If you get a little bit closer towards the Atlantic coastline, though, most communities will squeak out some high temperatures of around 1 or 2 degrees on the plus side of the scale. It'll be 2 for Liverpool and Shelburne for tomorrow, as well as Yarmouth, the Annapolis Valley, a little bit chillier, highs of around -1 for Kentville and Wolfville, as well as Middleton. There'll be some cleanup in the Annapolis Valley after the intense snow squalls today. Snowfall outlook for the end of the weekend. On Sunday during the day, some snow is expected to develop across Nova Scotia. May have some amounts during the day on Sunday of around 2 to 5 centimeters. It'll be flurries for both New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Now, additional snow is possible for Nova Scotia and parts of Prince Edward Island as we move through Sunday night and into Monday. That may bring some general totals of 5 to 15 centimeters for parts of Nova Scotia, potentially maybe some locally higher amounts in the east of that province, and also the possibility of 5 to 10 centimeters of snow for eastern parts of Prince Edward Island. Keep tabs on that forecast, though. Check in on it a couple of times this weekend because there has been a lot of variance day to day with the outlook for that weather system. If it starts to intensify a little bit earlier, the snowfall potential could come up, especially for the province of Nova Scotia and especially for eastern parts of that province. For New Brunswick, though, it's a chance of flurries on both Sunday and Monday. Colder temperatures extended to Tuesday of next week, a mix of sun and cloud Wednesday and Thursday, and a chance of flurries on Friday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, on Sunday, periods of snow developing during the day, but some further snow certainly possible Sunday night into Monday. Colder temperatures follow for Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud, and a chance of flurries on Friday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island, some flurries on Sunday may turn over to a period of snow Sunday night into Monday, especially for the east of the province. Colder temperatures on Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud Wednesday and Thursday, and a chance of flurries on Friday. Bruce.
Thank you, Caitlin. We'll take a moment to ponder the forecast and reconvene here after this quick little break. The holidays, of course, bring a lot of joy, but they can also leave behind a surprising amount of waste. Things like packaging and wrapping and all the decorations, of course, really put a strain on the environment. But as CTV's Stephanie Seco shows us tonight, there are a lot of ways to reduce your festive footprint.
It doesn't take much to reduce holiday waste.
We have a huge
Tupperware bin in the basement that's full of old tissue paper that we recycle, that we reuse.
Those efforts can make a big difference. According to Zero Waste Canada, overall waste can increase by more than 25% across the country during the holiday season. Previous data shows 545,000 tons of waste is generated from things like wrapping paper and shopping bags each year.
It's a time when people are buying lots, producing lots of waste. Why not reduce it right at the start?
In Charlottetown and across Prince Edward Island, gift wrap and tissue paper can be composted, while plastic and foil wrap go in the garbage. In Fredericton, shiny wrapping paper is not accepted in curbside recycling. And new this year in Halifax, gift wrap and bags, even with glitter and foil, can be recycled.
Another one, interesting, don't have to remove tape. Tape can be left on this year. Again, if you want to, that's fine, but it is not required by the program. You take all of your paper and you put it in your paper recycling bag.
Reducing waste also comes down to what you buy.
I love going to Value Village and the thrift stores and finding unique items that are perfect for the people in my family.
Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Stephanie. We'll take one final break on this Friday night. Coming up, some maritime teachers and parents work together to create a place where everyone can play. You'll see what we mean coming up. First, though, it is your wake-up weather. Here's a look at the beautiful festive train station in Macadam, New Brunswick on this Friday night, just about midnight. -7 right now. It really looks like the season, doesn't it? Just like that, Saturday morning upon us. Let's kick it off with the wake-up weather and Kalen.
Yeah, cold start to the day, partly cloudy conditions, still a risk of some snow squalls. Inverness and Victoria counties in Cape Breton. The risk of further snow squalls, though, should be diminishing as we move into and through Saturday afternoon. High temperatures tomorrow around many parts of the Maritimes will be in the range of around -6 to 0. There'll be a breezy wind out of the west, but at least it'll be a bit lighter than it was today. Bruce.
Good news there. Thank you, Kalen. Have a good weekend. Well, a group of parents and teachers in Riverview, New Brunswick, have teamed up to get a new playground built so that all the local kids can play in the same spot all at once. CTV's Derek Haggett explains.
Staff and parents at Riverview East get a little emotional when they think about some of the kids who can't use the school's playground. A handful of the students who use wheelchairs or walkers can't be with their friends because the playground is a bit rocky and uneven. During breaks, some of those kids walk or wheel around the adjacent bus loop, and that's heartbreaking to staff.
It looks like most of the kids going out to our playground and some kids going out to the bus loop, and it looks lonely.
A committee has been formed to raise money to build the Eagles Landing, a new inclusive playground right next to the current one.
Our playground is a nice playground, but if we don't have something for everyone to do, then we're not doing our job.
Playgrounds are not part of the school design when built, and each school community must raise money to get their own. Close to $20,000 has already been raised, but $260,000 is needed to make it all happen.
We've had so many people come together to work together to create the different opportunities to raise money, and for us to be able to support these students, it would mean the world to us.
So it would be a game changer to have all of the kids together. Makes us emotional sometimes to talk about it.
The hope is construction on the Eagles Landing will begin sometime during the next school year. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Riverview, New Brunswick.
Really great idea, especially at this time of year. That is your late news for tonight. That's it for this week. As a matter of fact, just a reminder, if you joined us late, you'd like another look at anything you've seen tonight, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It's always your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. We're going to leave you with the names of all of us here at Bell Media. Have yourself a good night and a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.